I was losing every negotiation, big and small, until I heard an ancient folktale. It's a story about a spider named Anansi. I learned a secret, and it changed the way I communicate forever. Now, I want to share it with you. Why do some people always get what they want? It's not because they're louder, or richer, or stronger. It's because they've learned a secret language. Have you ever tried to argue your case with a colleague and felt like they weren't even listening? Have you ever tried to get a better deal on something, only to hear the word no? Have you ever felt like you lose every negotiation before it even begins? Or have you ever walked out of a meeting, stomach sinking, knowing you lost before you even opened your mouth? That's where I was until I heard a story about a spider. A story about a tiny, mischievous spider who always outsmarted the biggest, loudest creatures in all of Africa. His name was Anansi. He faced opponents with more power, more force, and more arrogance. But he always walked away with the prize. And he did it by using 3 simple, but deadly tricks. This is not just a story about a spider. It's a masterclass in negotiation, hiding in plain sight. Stay with me, because by the end, you'll learn that the greatest weapon in any argument is not your voice. It's your mind. Negotiation isn't a fight. It's a dance. And most of us don't even know the steps. In life, you are always negotiating. For a raise, for your child's bedtime, for a better price at the market. And the moment you feel like you have to be loud is the moment you have already lost. We tend to think that the person with the most power wins. The person with the biggest car, the loudest voice, the most impressive title. But Anansi taught us that true power is invisible. True power is knowing the right thing to say at the right time. It's about understanding your opponent better than they understand themselves. Anansi had no power. He had no status. He was just a spider in a world of tigers, chiefs, and kings. And yet, he owned all the world stories. He was a master negotiator. So, what were his secrets? He used his wits to turn his weakness into his greatest strength. And so can you. The 3 negotiation tricks. Trick number 1. The power of framing. Anansi was hungry. He found a yam field where the yams were ripe and plump. But the farmer was big and strong, and his field was well guarded. Anansi knew he couldn't steal from him directly. So he decided to set a trap, using words. Anansi found a quiet spot on the path to the field and began to dig. When a large, arrogant hog came stomping by, Anansi pretended to be in deep distress. "Oh, my dear friend," Anansi cried. "I am so worried. My wife says there are 9 yam hills in this field, but I am sure there are only 8. It is an argument of honor." The hog snorted. "You are a fool, little spider. It is simple. I will show you. 1, 2, 3. As the hog reached the 9th hill, a great wave of magical energy shook the ground. The hog's eyes went wide with dawning horror, but before he could finish the word 9, he vanished into a puff of smoke. Anansi, with a wicked grin, rolled a large stone over the spot. He knew the farmer had a magic spell on his field. Anyone who counted to 9 would disappear. And Anansi knew exactly how to trick others into doing it for him. He framed the problem as a debate about honor, not a trick. And with that, he got all the yams he wanted. That's the first negotiation trick. Set the frame. Don't let the other person dictate the terms of the argument. Change the game. A negotiation about price can become a negotiation about value. An argument about a deadline can become a conversation about priorities. The person who frames the conversation wins the argument before a word is even spoken. Trick number 2. The power of leverage. Anansi wanted to travel. He wanted to go on a long journey, but he was small, and the path was long and dangerous. He knew he needed a ride. So, he found Tiger. Now, Tiger was the most feared creature in all the land. He was proud and arrogant, and he would never agree to carry a tiny spider on his back. So, Anansi decided to get leverage. He found Tiger and pretended to be terribly sick, groaning and clutching his stomach. "Oh, mighty Tiger," Anansi moaned. "My stomach aches so badly. I am too weak to walk. I think I am dying." Tiger, who was both powerful and a little bit vain, said with a huff, "Don't be dramatic, Spider. Get on my back. I will give you a ride to the next village, and you can tell everyone how you rode on the great tiger's back." Anansi pretended to hesitate. "Oh, no, sir. I am so weak. I would surely fall off and be lost. I fear I might need something to hold on to." Tiger, eager to prove his strength, said, "What do you need, little one?" Anansi, with a weak voice, said, "Could you bring me your bridle and saddle? And maybe your spurs so I can cling on with my legs?" Tiger, filled with pride, agreed. He went to get them. When he returned, Anansi carefully climbed on his back. He put the bridle on Tiger's head, the saddle on his back, and the spurs on his feet. And with a sudden, powerful jab of the spurs, Anansi said in a new, strong voice, "Go, mighty Tiger, take me where I need to go." Tiger roared, startled and angry. But with the saddle and bridle on, he had lost all control. He was now a mere horse for the cunning spider. Anansi had not negotiated a ride. He had created leverage. That's the second negotiation trick. Create leverage. Power is not what you have. It's what the other person thinks you have. Anansi had no power over Tiger, but he created it by making Tiger think he was helping. You can find leverage in every situation, even when you are small. Find a person's vanity, their ego, or their need to be seen as a helper, and you can create the power to get what you want. Trick number 3, the power of secrets. In the beginning, all the world's wisdom was scattered everywhere. But Anansi, in his greed, decided to gather it all up. He went around the world, collecting every ounce of wisdom and putting it into a single, big pot. When the pot was full, it was heavy, too heavy to carry. But Anansi, in his selfish pride, wanted to keep all the wisdom for himself. He didn't want to share it with anyone. So he decided to hide it. He thought, "Where can I hide this pot of wisdom? I will hide it at the very top of the tallest tree in the forest. Nobody will be able to reach it there." He struggled and struggled. He tied the heavy pot to his chest, but it was so big and awkward that he couldn't climb the tree. He tried every way he could, but the pot kept getting in his way. His little son, Dakuma, watched him from the ground. He shook his head. "Father," Dakuma said, "why don't you tie the pot to your back instead? It would be easier to climb." Anansi, furious that his son had seen his struggle, threw the pot to the ground in frustration. The pot shattered into 1,000 pieces, and all the wisdom of the world flew away, scattering to the wind. Anansi's secret, his precious hidden wisdom, was gone. That's the final negotiation trick. Know when to conceal. Anansi's secret was his undoing. When you go into a negotiation, you don't have to show all your cards. But you also can't keep all the wisdom for yourself. Knowing when to reveal a piece of information and when to hold it back is the key to winning. The wisdom that Anansi held closest to his chest ultimately broke him. True wisdom is a tool for connection, not just for power. Anansi, the little spider, didn't win by being bigger or stronger. He won by using 3 simple principles. And so can you? The 3-step Anansi negotiation mindset. 1. Set the frame. Don't argue on their terms. Change the conversation to one where you can win. 2. Create leverage. Find what your opponent values, their pride, their need to be seen as a helper, their ego, and use it to gain the upper hand. 3. Know when to conceal. Don't reveal all your cards at once. But remember that the wisdom you hold closest to your chest might also be the one thing that keeps you from climbing the tree. The next time you are in a negotiation, remember the lesson of the spider. You don't need to be louder. You don't need to be bigger. You just need to be smarter. You already have everything you need to win. The power is in your mind, not in your voice. And for more wisdom from Africa's greatest stories, don't forget to subscribe to Nature Teaches Life. The stories now belong to you.